The 2017 regular season comes to its conclusion tonight as the UMass Boston Beacons men's lacrosse team aims to finish above 500 for the second consecutive season against their LEC rivals, the Plymouth State Panthers. That's not correct. The Southern Maine Huskies here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. The Beacons baseball team is playing Plymouth State tomorrow, and lo and behold, I'm doing both broadcasts, and that's what happens when you do it live. Just ask Bill O'Reilly. Good evening and welcome to the BBN. I'm John Skudris. This topsy-turvy 2017 regular season campaign will end this evening, and the Beacons hope it's on the strength of a 4-game winning streak. That's right, Tyler Lowe's club has taken 3 consecutive conference affairs as the season winds down, triumphing over Dartmouth, Plymouth State, and Salem State in successive games. Tonight it is senior day, and they will look to continue the momentum that they had in a victory over Salem State last time out. In that game, the Beacons dominated Salem State, forcing 25 turnovers en route to a 13-6 win. One key reason for UMass's turnaround, the return of Calvin Lee, who missed much of the season with a lower body injury. Calvin scored 2 goals while contributing 2 assists on 11 shots in the win over the Vikings. His continued success, along with that of Clay Arnold on offense, will be key to a victory for the Beacons tonight. On the other side of the equation is Southern Maine, who can leapfrog UMass in the conference standings with a road win this evening. The Huskies have had a doozy of a time down the stretch, having lost 5 of 8 in April, including 2 straight coming into play. Their 20-2 blasting at the hands of Keene State was their worst of the year, something the Beacons are all too familiar with, having lost to the Owls by 21 goals earlier this month. Southern Maine will rely on the offense of Keegan Smith, who has 38 points in 13 games, and Nate Del Judas, who has 31 in 12. They will need to overcome freshman goalie Alex Surrett, who was named the USILA BSN Sports National Defensive Player of the Week here in April. It's the Beacons and the Huskies wrapping up 2017 on the BBN this evening, and we are so glad to have you with us. Who will end the season on a high note? Find out next, right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. And as we continue along, we take a look at the team stats for both of these clubs. And if you look at it, the regular season standings are close, and there's a reason why. Look at the goals per game, almost identical, only .07 separating the two. Their goals against average also strong. The Beacons dwarfing Southern Maine in both of those categories, but by a very small margin. And the key here could be man-up percentage. Both teams almost identical at almost 21% in that category. These are 2 evenly matched squads. We'll see if home field advantage runs true here for UMass Boston in the final game of the regular season. Our player to watch today is Josh Holmes, not one of those seniors. Surprisingly enough, Holmes has been absolutely outstanding here in 2017 as he has come over and been a godsend for Tyler Lowe's club. The youngster has 32 points, including 18 goals in just 8 starts, 12 games overall, so he's a player who, despite not starting every time out, certainly made an impact here in his first year on Beaconville. They'll be expecting much more out of Josh in the future here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Of course, Senior Day is today, and 2 of those seniors are 2 of the most celebrated in program history. They'll be recognized before the opening face-off of this one, and what really can you say about Calvin Lee, who will be the first senior honored, a transfer from Colby College. Calvin currently sits with 99 points as a Beacon, in which he recorded in just 2 short seasons. How about that? As a 2016 All-Conference selection, Calvin was impressive in his first season on the Harbor campus as he recorded 54 goals and 27 assists. This season, Calvin has battled through injury and has emerged as one of the Beacons' go-to leaders, as the Hopkinton native will be honored, along with his family members out there, on Senior Day. Of course, the only other senior to be honored tonight is one that's well-deserving, number 10, Anthony Tortora. As you see Calvin introduced to the crowd, get all of his teammates out there for the picture. And that is the sign of a leader right there for Tyler Lowe's club. He wants every player who made an impact on this club to take that picture with him as one to remember for the rest of his life. Anthony Tortora is one of those players out there with him. A 4-year member of the program, Anthony is appearing in his 61st career game this evening, which is second most in program history. During his time with the Beacons, Anthony has registered 5 goals and 10 assists. His 143 career ground balls and 37 caused turnovers both rank him in the top 15 in UMass Boston history. This season, Anthony has played an instrumental role in the Beacons' wins over Plymouth State and UMass Dartmouth, as the Medford native plays his final game here at Beaconville in regular season play, though that may be extended to a home postseason game or 2 if the Beacons are able to pull off a victory today with a win and a Keene State win tonight. against Plymouth State, the Beacons would clinch the number 2 seed, a bye in the first round, and a home playoff game. So that'll be nice for the Beacons to do. Of course, the Beacons have plenty of work left to do against Southern Maine. We talked about their offensive talent. Keegan Smith, a senior from West Gardner, Maine, and Nate Jaljudas, a junior from Oakland, Maine. Their top offensive performers. Their best goalie is Zach Bissett, as Bissett is a junior out of Redfield, Maine. Coming in, all the decisions for his team are his. He's 6-8 with a 11.58 goals against average and a 58.1% save percentage. As Anthony Tortora celebrates senior day with his family, it'll be Zach Bissett as the man he'll have to beat if the Beacons are going to come away with a victory today, as UMass Boston takes on their rivals from Southern Maine. We take a look at the standings in the Little East Conference coming into play. And, of course, who else at the top? Keene State, the Owls undefeated in conference play, 11-3 overall. They've been outstanding. Plymouth State comes in at 4-2 and 8-6. UMass Boston 4-2, 7-7 overall. Looking to finish with a winning record with a triumph today as they look to take on the Southern Maine Huskies. Let's take a look at what's ahead for the Beacons. Of course, not much. It's with a win against Eastern Connecticut State, or with a win tonight and an Eastern Connecticut State loss to Keene State, which should be a given, though who knows how many players Keene State is really suiting up tonight. UMass Boston will host the semifinal on Thursday. With a loss, they'll play on Tuesday in the LEC quarters, and that's not something that Tyler Low Club wants. They want to finish with an above 500 record, and they want to come away with that bye in the first round. Starting lineups are being introduced by the PA announcer Pepper Baker here this evening. And folks, keep in mind, this is one of the first games this season where we've had actual summer-esque weather. Usually these lacrosse games are played in dreary temperatures, especially the evening ones. But tonight it is absolutely pristine. It's spring sports weather if you've ever seen it. And we'll see how much that affects the play. It shouldn't be as sloppy as some of the games we've seen earlier this year. However, at the same time, we'll see if it affects the fatigue of some of these players. They are not used to playing in these type of temperatures this season. So we'll see if the Beacons can stay hydrated, as can the Huskies, as Southern Maine continues to warm up on their side of the field. They're all set for some lacrosse. The Beacons are as well. We're going to pause here for a bit. When we come back after the national anthem, we will have the opening face-off between Southern Maine and UMass Boston right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. So after we honored America, it's time for the Beacons to hit the field as UMass Boston takes on Southern Maine here on Senior Day, the final day in the regular season career, at least for the likes of Calvin Lee and Anthony Tortora. They are both out there to start. Actually, Calvin Lee is not out because he'll come out once the Beacons gain offensive possession. Actually, does now come out. Along with that duo, Beacons will have the familiar starting cast, Alex Surrett, in net. And, of course, Alex honored just last week as the Defensive Player of the Week in all of D3 lacrosse. So that is really quite an accomplishment for Alex, who will look to close off his freshman campaign strong. The two starting lineups are out there for both Southern Maine and UMass Boston as they will shake hands and get set for this matchup. Southern Maine with a lot to play for. Victory today will move them to 7-8 and 4-3 in the LEC. It also gives them the tiebreaker over the Beacons, who would fall back to that identical record. Beacons, of course, also plenty to play for. Victory today, along with a Keene State win over Eastern Connecticut State, clinches the number 2 seed for UMass Boston. So both teams ready to go. Familiar face in there in the face-off dot for UMass Boston as Ganem gets set. Of course, earlier today, Plymouth State falling at Western Connecticut State, and that has the Beacons with an opportunity to get that 2 seed and a chance at a bye for the first round, which would be huge. Matt Murphy taking the opening face-off for UMass Boston. He's matching up against Drew Shane, and Murphy comes away with it, retracts back into his own territory before handing it off to Surrett, and the Beacons will move forward. Murphy on a give and go gets it back from his netminder and moves over half field, and now here he is, now deep into the Huskies' territory as the Beacons will set up their first offensive possession here on Senior Day 2017. I'm John Skudras. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network, and we are glad to have you with us. Substitutions early on here as the Beacons get ready to go. Tortora hands it off to a familiar partner in crime. That's Sam Matton. Matton out there along with Tortora and number 17, Mike Mulligan, at the midfield. Of course, Calvin Lee down low as an attacker along with Clay Arnold. And Josh Holmes behind the net right now. Tortora, the senior, right in front for Arnold. They score! UMass Boston strikes first. And it is Clay Arnold, the junior from Syracuse, New York. Just a minute, 3 seconds into the game. And the Beacons are on top. It's 1-0 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. What a great give and go and a great passing play after Tortora, one senior, got in. He found Arnold right in front. And the junior transfer knew what to do with it. For Clay Arnold, that is his team-leading 26th goal on the campaign. So the Beacons getting off to the early advantage, just what the doctor ordered for Tyler Lowe's club, and another face-off win by Murphy. What a pass right out in front, an opportunity right in front for Holmes. He scores! Josh Holmes, our player to watch, delivers early on, and the Beacons have scored twice in 9 seconds, and they lead it 2-0 with 13:48 to go in the first. For Holmes, the team's second leading scorer, that is his 19th goal of the year. 33 points now ties him yet again with Arnold. And Dillon with the assist, who came piercing in after getting the pass from Murphy. That was exactly as you want to do it offensively. A couple of early face-off wins for Murphy. Now coming back the other way is the opposition, as you'll see here. Southern Maine trying to pinch in and try to limit these opportunities because early on the Beacons have dominated. Huskies finally getting an offensive possession here. Del Judas has it behind the net, number 10 in blue. Far side for Keegan Smith. Back up top as taken possession is Jeff Ermston. Bryce Randall one-on-one with Arnold. Pulls back as the long stick comes on out. That was Jack Dillon who just had the assist, applying aggressive defense. As Smith now taking a couple hacks. Gets it back to Bryce Randall. Randall, hesitation, moves from right to left, now has to pull back as who else? Dillon back in his face. Smith right out in front, a good opportunity and a good look, but it went right through the wickets of Paul Leonardo. Alex Surrett had it, then got slashed, and I think the Beacons will keep possession here, and they will, as Arnold has it. Croy Arnold, he and his brother Clay transfers this season, and they have been outstanding. Meanwhile, here's Tortora looking for a goal. It is his senior day. It's true as Tortora delivers. It's 3-0. UMass Boston just 2:32 in. Tortora now with an assist and a goal in the first 2.5 minutes or so here on senior day as he celebrates with his teammates and chest pumps Conor Smith. So the goal by Tortora, we mentioned his numbers earlier on, and obviously not a goal scorer from midfield, more of a distributor. But Anthony has been outstanding all season long and over the course of his career. And for Anthony, that is goal number 5 on the year, point number 11 now, along with the assist on the opening goal. Beacons haven't had a whole lot of games this year where they've been the offensive juggernaut. The most goals that they've scored is 15 in a game. That came all the way back against Daniel Webster in the second game of the year on March 6th. The 13 they scored last time out against Salem State was their second highest total. Beacons have been held to single digits this season 7 times, including 2 victories. A 3-2 win over Riviere back on March 22nd in what was an abysmal evening, at least weather-wise, and of course a 4-2 win at home on the 19th of this month against Dartmouth. So the Beacons defensively have gotten it done all year. Offensively, though, clicking at the right time if they're going to bring this momentum into the LEC tournament next week. So the Beacons trying to get even more offense. Here's Murphy. 2 of the Huskies go down. Murphy all the way in, and he just missed far side as Murphy trying to go all the way by his lonesome and almost made it happen. Tortora now gets it as Arnold finds him. Beacons leading 3-0 early on in the first quarter. They can smell blood, and like sharks in the water, they are circling looking for more. Madden goes far side for Tortora. As Sam regains possession from Carvo. Tortora fakes the move to the left, comes back far side just like on the first goal. This time he takes the shot and misses as it's blocked. And now coming back the other way with possession is Zach Ham. Ham, long stick defender over midfield. Defers down to number 10. That is Nate Daljudas, the second leading scorer. Daljudas hesitates, pulls back, waiting. Now he tried to connect with his partner in crime. That's Bryce Randall, but good defensive play by Murphy, who deflected it towards the sideline. Now Randall has it. Bryce goes far side for Jeff Ermston, native of Bellingham, Maine, as this one is back down low. Keegan Smith now near side. Daljudas. Nate right out in front, and that one's picked off by Tortora, who has been outstanding here in the first quarter on senior day, both offensively and defensively. And now it sets up a breakout for the Beacons the other way. Coming on in is Dillon with a hard bouncing shot and a short hop in front, and that one misses wide of the netminder. That's Zach Bissett. And the Beacons keep possession. Here's Holmes. Conor Smith with it, number 11 in white, near side. D'd up here by Camery. Mike Mulligan, first chance to say his name, coming all the way in, far side, takes the shot. It's blocked in front. Good defensive play by Ryan Marsh. And Mulligan able to regain possession, though, sends it back for Smith, and now Sam Matten has a try. Sam from right to left, down towards the baseline, now back behind the net. Hands things off to Clay Arnold, the team's leading goal scorer. Clay right in front. He was looking for Lee. Instead, it trickles back out to the point where a shot there is denied as Mike Mulligan's chance, and the first real save there from Zach Bissett as he gobbles it up and moves forward offensively. Bissett connects with Sam Hornblower, one of two brothers on this squad. Sam Hornblower, the junior, and Max Hornblower, the freshman, both from Portland, Maine, both accounting majors, and both standing 6'3" tall. Here now with it is Bryce Randall. Randall connecting near side with Del Judas. Nate goes back behind the net for Keegan Smith. This is a dynamic 1-2 punch, and they have to get it going if Southern Maine wants to get back in this one. There's a shot, and that one may have ticked off the stick of Surratt. The shot coming from Jeff Urmston, the senior from Bellingham, who is a recreation and leisure studies major. Oddly enough, as that one is a chance for a one-timer in front from Leonardo, but it's deflected wide. And now picking it up and moving forward, Murphy with that long stick stretched out away from the defense. What a great feed from Smith, but it trickled off his stick. Now a bouncing ball, still careening towards midfield. Tortora slaps it back towards Holmes, and that's who comes out with it as Josh has possession. So a bit of a manic moment there, but the Beacons keep their poise. And Anthony Tortora gets a chance to catch his breath. With possession here is Adam Carvo. Adam finds Arnold. Croy from right behind almost got it slashed away by Camery, but he keeps possession. Croy Arnold now coming in, goes back behind the net for Lee. Lee right out in front. Holmes takes a shot, and that one sails wide on the far side as Josh Holmes with a one-time opportunity from the slot, but he missed that one. Beacons keep possession. Carvo for Sam Matten. Matten far side for Croy Arnold. Arnold pinching in, behind the net, Lee. Now Matten, he's got an open shooting lane. He'll take it. Bouncer, he scores! Sam Matten delivers on a bouncer right in front. He defeats the goalie there. That's Zach Bissett, and it's 4-0 UMass Boston. We are not even halfway through the first quarter. And with an assist on that one, Calvin Lee now has 100 career points in just about 2 seasons. How about that? So Calvin Lee hits the century mark, and now here's Jack Dillon looking to make it 5 on the board, but a great kick save by Surratt.
Calvin Lee has now recorded his 100th career point as a UMass Boston Beacon. Congratulations to Calvin on this amazing achievement.
So as they announce that, Calvin gets a nice round of applause from those in attendance here on Senior Day. Bissett with possession for the Huskies as he goes far side for Sam Hornblower. Hornblower, nice hesitation move, and almost lost that in the long stick, but he does get the pass away near side for Paul Leonardo. Leonardo getting hacked by Arnold, and the Beacons are going to be shorthanded, I think. No, it doesn't look like they threw the flag, just was going to be a delay. Now here's a chance for the Huskies to take advantage of that. Right in front, they score, and they do, as it's Paul Leonardo on an assist from Jeff Urmston, and Leonardo has cut the deficit to 3. So Leonardo, right place, right time. Urmston with a nice pass, and Leonardo beats Alex Surratt down low. UMass Boston now up 4-1 as Murphy gets back at it against Drew Shane. So the Huskies win that face-off, and now they'll have a chance to continue to chip into this Beacons lead. Now down 4-1. Smith looking for Del Judas. The stick in his face coming from Jim Ganem. And now Smith and Daljudas switch spots, and that allows it to get over to Nate. Nate Daljudas, D'd up by Ganem. Junior defenseman playing him tightly, but right out in front, and a high riser from Randall. But Bryce misses everything, and Daljudas will have to reset from behind the net. UMass leading 4-1. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Nate Daljudas, the man with possession for Southern Maine. Ganem aggressively gets on his back, and now here's a chance to come near side. Instead, Nate goes back behind the net for the man who just scored, Leonardo. Paul back behind the net for Keegan Smith, team leader in goals. Nice no-look feed, but it even fooled the recipient. That was Tristan Dundas, the freshman from Abbotsford, British Columbia. And that one comes out of bounds, and the Beacons will get possession as Robert Ranta, the Newton native, will pick it up and find Alex Surrett to regain the composure and break out for UMass Boston. Just about 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Beacons, if you're just joining us, jumped out to a 4-0 lead, and that's an awkward pass there from Murphy, but luckily no one was home down low, so Ranta can mosey over to regain possession for the Beacons. Corey Arnold just slings this one as the Beacons were struggling in their own zone. How's that for twins finding each other? As Clay Arnold is the man getting it right after Croy slings it with abandon. Clay looking for Tortora, finds him, and now he's got a couple of middies out there with him. That's Connor Smith receiving the pass, and Sam Matton to the near side with him. Mike Mulligan adds a little offensive essence to this one as he replaces Murphy. And the Beacons will get set to move forward. 5:15 to go, first quarter. Here's Connor Smith, one-on-one. Nice move by Connor, moving to the left. Fakes the pass, comes all the way around the D. Now comes down low, and that was a bad pass. Intended for Arnold. And Clay was unable to get it, and they'll just have to hand off possession to the Huskies. That's Ryan Saul, a senior from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. An environmental science major. Meanwhile, the netminder Zach Bissett, a criminology major, as he'll try to lock up a victory today. Not off to a good start, down 4-1. That's getting this stick slashed a little bit there. Great defensive effort by who else? Number 22, Jack Dillon. He's been a rough and tumble wrecking ball all season long, and he got the job done there as Murphy has it for the Beacons. Robert Ranta sends it all the way down, taken in there by Ganem. Jim, the long stick defender, playing offense here, finds Calvin Lee behind the net and will retract back to his positioning. Holmes, Clay Arnold, Calvin Lee, and on the near side it is Mike Mulligan as Lee got it poked away from his grasp, but he regains possession, finds Mulligan near side. Hornblower on him, back towards the top for Sam Matton, and Connor Smith sends it right back from whence it came to Matton. Smith, Matton, and Mulligan, the midfielders. Josh Holmes open in the slot, but Mulligan instead goes back behind the net for Lee. Good feed, but it's intercepted by the netminder Bissett. Good play as Bissett forces the turnover. Sam Hornblower couldn't get his grasp on the pass from his netminder, though, and there's just another turnover right back the other way, as Mulligan should be the one to bring this one in. Robert Ranta with it. Surrett now near side Murphy. Jim Ganem with possession, long stick defender, goes back behind the net for Clay Arnold. Good job gaining possession and avoiding the stick check there from Ryan Saul. As Arnold finds Connor Smith, and the Beacons offense can get ready to move forward with 3:05 left. With possession, Smith looking for Holmes, connects with him. Holmes has a goal here in the first. 1 of 4 for UMass Boston. Here's Mulligan looking for his first of the day. Instead, he deferred back behind the net to Holmes, who couldn't handle a pass, but he's luckily enough the first one there. Mulligan one-on-one back behind the net for Holmes. Holmes thought about going left, instead comes right, tries the wraparound, and that one denied smartly by, I believe, Sam Hornblower, who made the block. As a long stick junior defenseman from Portland, Maine. Good positioning on that one. Conor Smith now as he gets right by his defender and takes a low shot, and protecting himself there is Bissett, but he doesn't have time to catch his bearings as a one-time chance in front is true. Calvin Lee connecting with Josh Holmes, and UMass Boston on the strength of Holmes gets a 4-goal lead. Yet again, it's 5-1. That's Holmes' second on the day, his 20th on the campaign. So Josh making us prolific here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network for naming him player to watch, despite not being one of those two seniors honored prior to the festivities. But he has done it all season long now. 20 goals for Josh Holmes in 2017. Murphy had initially dot that face-off, but he couldn't scoop it. Now ground ball with an opportunity to be taken in by the Huskies. Instead, Robert Ranta found it and somehow able to maintain possession around 3 Huskies, and he connects with Calvin Lee. One-time chance here for Dillon. Now here they go. Numbers the other way. Dillon takes the shot, and that one high and wide. That long stick can be tough to shoot accurately with. Didn't have it there, did Jack, but Holmes is the first one there, and so with less than 2 minutes to go, the Beacons would have had a chance. We'll see if Tortora gets there. He does, as Matt was unable to handle the initial feed there from Holmes, but Anthony Tortora is there to clean things up. This has been a first quarter dominated offensively by UMass Boston, possession-wise and on the scoreboard, as here's Tortora looking for more points today. He's already got a couple. Beacons leading 5-1. With a win and a EastCon loss tonight to Keene State, the Beacons clinch the 2 seed and a bye in the Little East Conference playoffs, so plenty to play for. Far side now pinching in, back behind the net. Mulligan connects with Holmes. 66 seconds left first quarter. Beacons content to continue draining some clock as Tortora goes to Matten. Sam playing pitch and catch with Mulligan. Mulligan teed up by Drew Shane right now as he goes back behind the net, and a tightly defended Calvin Lee goes right through the D and now goes back right in the slot there for Holmes, and a good save by Bissett as Holmes was open. Fired it right into the net of the netminder as Bissett now will move things forward with less than 30 seconds to go. Bissett thought about going to number 6, that's Jake Schoenberg. Now he does, but Schoenberg can't handle it. It's turned over. Getting that one slashed away from his grasp was Aiden Pugsley. And with just 8 seconds left, that should just about wrap it up. As back deep in his own zone is Ryan Saul, and he's not going to have a chance to do much of anything here. And so that will do it for the first 15 minutes of play here from James Cotter Field in Boston, Massachusetts. And if the Beacons were hoping to come out strong, they certainly lived up to expectations. As coming off a 3-game winning streak, they will look to carry a 4-game winning streak into postseason play as they lead this one after one by a score of 5-1 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. So UMass Boston, very impressive stuff here early on, as the Beacons will try to get that bye in the first round. And these two teams very evenly matched squads, as mentioned in the pregame show coming in, at least on paper. And so the Beacons to get off to this type of advantage. Now at the same time, these are two teams going in opposite directions. Their record's very similar, but the Beacons have won 3 in a row. Defensively, they've only allowed 15 goals combined in their last 3 since the 22-3 drubbing at Keene State back on the 15th. On the other hand, things haven't been going so well over the last couple of weeks for these Huskies. In their last 2 games combined, they've been outscored 33-9, and that came in 2 losses to those aforementioned Owls, who seem to be doing that to everybody, and the Plymouth State Panthers, who the Beacons beat 4 days prior, 11-7. So these are two teams that are going in opposite directions, and it shows through the first 15 as the Beacons lead it by a score of 5-1. Two teams ready to go for the second quarter. I'm John Skudris. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network, UMass Boston and Southern Maine. And senior day here in the final game of the regular season for the men's lacrosse team. With a win, the Beacons would get a bye in the first round of the LEC tournament. And already leading 5-1. So here we go, ready for the second quarter as Murphy tries to get that face-off win. Unsuccessful at first, but then he does come right from behind Joe Penna to take it and move forward. Here's a chance from Holmes, and a bouncing shot sails wide to the far side as Holmes looking for his third of the game in just the first 15 and about 10 seconds. Tortora for Matten, and they play pitch and catch. Mulligan comes on for Dillon. Now he and Anthony go back and forth. Tortora D'd up by Max Hornblower, the freshman and brother of Sam. They'll both look very similar, wearing 37 and 38, and both standing 6'3" and about 200. Sam a couple years older, also a little heavier. Here's Josh Holmes, D'd up by Sam Hornblower. And now Mulligan trying to get around, and he does. Nice speed from Mulligan to get around Doob. And now back behind the net, Lee thinking about going in front. Instead, he has to go far side for Matten. Tortora now, Mulligan. Mulligan behind the net for Lee. Lee right in front, a good play. Bassett's done that twice now to Calvin Lee, who was looking to get Clay Arnold, who already has a goal today. But a good play by Bassett, and the netminder, Zach Bassett, the junior from Redfield, Maine, regaining his composure after a tough start. Ooh, Ranta misplayed that one, and that's going to go out of bounds. And so that is a big-time mistake for UMass Boston as they turn over in their own zone. Will allow Keegan Smith to set up the offense for the Huskies. Leonardo has the only goal for Southern Maine. He defers back to Randall. Bryce Randall D'd up by Croy Arnold. Far side now taken in by Del Judas. And Jeff Ermston, who has the lone assist today, hands it off to Bryce Randall. Ernston thinking a shot, he takes it, and that one sails wide. Surratt had to go into the splits to try to make that save. Smith now, D'd up by Ganem. Taken in, and Leonardo goes right in front, and they score. Tristan Dundas, number 27, a freshman from Abbotsford, British Columbia, as the Canadian delivers. And it is now 5-2. So Leonardo finds Dundas, Tristan's 9th goal of the year. Only has 1 assist, so he's been one-dimensional this year for Southern Maine, but he gets the job done there. Meanwhile, Robert Ranta can't control possession, and then he takes a mighty hack and is able to dislodge it from one of the Huskies. Ranta using that body to bull over a couple of Huskies and allow Holmes to come away with it right in front, and missing a wide-open net was Murphy. Oh, Murphy had a wide-open net in front with Bassett pinching out, and he just missed, tying wide with that long stick. Beacons do keep possession, however, as Clay Arnold has it, waiting for substitutions to take effect. And as they do, he connects with Adam Carvo. Adam goes far side for Holmes. Holmes now comes back towards midfield and hands right back off to Adam. Carvo now with an open lane to come around and find Lee behind the net. Calvin faked the pass, goes right in between a couple of defenders, got caught up there, and now finds Holmes, who sends it right back to Adam Carvo. The struggles defensively for the Huskies have been to force turnovers and to get the Beacons out of these long, prolonged offensive rushes. That's how the Beacons scored their first 5 goals, and they'll try to make it 6 here. Up by 3 now, 5-2. And, well, sometimes the referees can help, as that is a turnover. And it's forced here by the Huskies and allows Hornblower to mosey over midfield. And Hornblower now with great size, but then takes himself out as he trips over his own 2 feet with Croy Arnold defending him. And that'll allow the Beacons to motor with numbers the other way. Clay Arnold is wide open, and he gets it. Clay in front knows what to do. And number 7 in white, 7 Heaven, he does it again. His second of the day as Clay Arnold continues his assault on Little East goalies. His 27th of the year for the team's leading goal scorer from Syracuse, New York. It is now 6-2 Beacons on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. So with 10:53 to go here in the second quarter, Beacons have re-extended their lead to 4. That has been their largest lead, 4 goals. They led 4-0 and 5-1, now 6-2, as this is almost a turnover. Drew Shane able to poke it towards Smith. And Keegan now with possession. Keegan Smith with Croy Arnold on him, comes back near side for Schoenberg. As Jake goes to Bryce Randall, Randall then hands things off to Ernston, and that's how the Huskies will continue to pursue this offensive possession. Ernston's deflected shot almost gave fits to Surratt because of the knuckling action and the changeup of the speed. Instead, Croy Arnold finds Clay Arnold on a great save. Rebound, they score! No, they're going to wave it off. And they're going to say no goal. So they're going to give a save there to Bissett. And now moving the other way, the Huskies. What an opportunity for Clay Arnold to get his 3rd of the day. And then what a poor play there by Randall, just leaving that one out in the open to be slashed away by Aiden Pugsley. But the Huskies able to keep possession. And now here's Hornblower. Hornblower, oh my goodness. That one got away from him. That one sailed just a bit outside as now the Beacons move forward with 9:30 to go. Josh Holmes pulls back as 2 Huskies were on him, and now he goes to Sam Matten. Matten will await a timeout as we get a call here. The Beacons calling timeout, and with 9:18 to go, with UMass Boston up by 4, Tyler Lowe wants to talk to his club. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Out of the timeout here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, I am John Scooters. Beacons up 6-2 with 9:18 to go in the second quarter of play. Beacons getting out to a 4-0 advantage, and they've kept at least a 3-goal lead since then. Their largest lead has been 4, and they've done it 3 times. Beacons starting offensively off of their timeout. Josh Holmes on the far side with possession. Neanders back behind the net. Holmes out there with Clay Arnold and Calvin Lee, and that pass off the mark. Sam Matten, nice job to save it and keep possession. Matten for Calvin, who for the first time tonight is not in his customary position behind the net, using his wheels and his agility to get right in front, and a high-rising shot is denied by the netminder, Paul Bissett. So the Huskies now moving forward as Bissett connected out there with Len Dube, and now Dube comes behind the net for Smith. Keegan Smith one-on-one with Ganem. And Smith goes right in front. Great pass and a good save made by Surratt as he got a stick on the shot of Bryce Randall. Keegan Smith looking towards the top. Here's Randall again, and this one coming from Bryce's stick to the near side. And he misses. Short side on the netminder Surratt with 8:22 to go. Smith looking to go right through a couple of long sticks, and that missed everybody. Randall keeps it over midfield, and so keeps possession offensively. Beat up by Tortora, who has had an outstanding game so far. Here's Keegan Smith. Randall goes towards Ermstrom. Ermstrom down low. Randall gets it right back from Dube. Ermstrom hesitating back towards Randall. With Smith out there. Keegan trying to go down low. And a bad angle shot, and that's off the side of the net from the stick of Del Judas. And possession now for Surratt and the Beacons. Murphy connecting there and moving forward with it for UMass Boston and dumping it down low's Ganem. Holmes with it now. Holmes down there alone with Jackson, with Lee and Arnold. And now keep in mind that switch that put Arnold behind the net. We'd seen Calvin Lee's passes intercepted a couple of times by the netminder Bissett. Maybe that's the thinking, to get him back out top and allow him to free range a little bit. Carvo. Back for Connor Smith. Nice move as he gets the defender shaken out of his wits. There's a shot from Carvo, whose howitzer cannon sails wide, but Lee's the first man there. Calvin one-on-one with Marsh, connecting Carvo. Carvo back to Holmes, looking for his third of the day. Arnold out there with the man with the ball on the end of his stick. That's Holmes, along with Carvo, Arnold, Smith, and Tortora, as that one is dropped right in the slot by Clay Arnold. And unfortunately, a turnover for UMass Boston. Huskies with possession, less than 6 to go. Second quarter, it's 6-2. UMass Boston on top. And now whistle, offsides. And now possession going back the other way. Beacons will try to capitalize on the turnover. Lee faking the shot, taking it just wide as he was trying to go far side from where he shot it. And now we will get a whistle and a timeout. So another timeout on the field with the Beacons leading it 6-2. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network. We'll be back. Good news for Beacons faithful as we are back on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. I'm John Scudris. Clay Arno now with an opportunity right in front. Good save by Bissett as Zach thought about just passing it out. Now will hesitate. We mentioned the scenarios. Keene State is now all over the visiting Eastern Connecticut State squad. 11-2. It was 7-2 just minutes ago. Now it's 11-2. So the Owls flying high as usual. They will finish undefeated, barring a comeback of epic proportions by EastCon. And with that matchup, if it does go final, the Beacons with a win would clinch the 2 seed in the conference and another timeout on the field. So these two teams playing chess against each other. We'll see who devises the best strategy with 4:56 to go here in the second quarter of play. Beacons got out in front 4-0, made it 5-1 after the first goal was scored by Southern Maine. It's now 6-2. A couple of goals from Holmes, a goal from Arnold, a goal from Tortora, and a goal from Lee. When we reconvene, it'll be in the Beacon zone as the timeout was called by Southern Maine. Just about 30 seconds after the Beacons called timeout. So the Huskies down by 4 with less than 5 minutes to go in the first half. Will try to use their strategy from that huddle to chip into the deficit. Randall will start with possession. Actually, on the far side, it'll be Del Judas who has it. Randall's the midfielder, D'd up by Ganem. And now here's a chance right in front. A great save made by Surratt. Now a penalty coming on up late. As the Beacons, it looks like, will be a man down. I want to say it's Croy Arnold, but not sure yet. It might be Tortora. Looks like it is Croy. So it looks like it's actually Murphy. They're going to be the one who's eventually the guilty party. So the Beacon shorthanded for just 30 seconds. 30 seconds for a push as this one is deflected by Ranta out of bounds. Smith finding Leonardo. Back towards Smith. Near side Ermstrom. Ermston goes right in front. A good one-time chance there for Dundas, looking for his second, but Tristan missed wide on the bouncer. Possession maintained. The penalty still ongoing. Smith shook Rant out of his boots and then has a chance to set up Randall by way of Del Judas. Randall, though, corralled to lose his possession. And another whistle, and the referees give possession right back to the Huskies. The penalty is over. A good block there by Tortora. But still, possession maintained by Dundas. Eventually, though, swatted away and moved forward by Jack Dillon. Dillon's got great wheels for a defender, and he knows how to use them. Coming on in, down low, Lee. Lee's bouncing shot, he scores! Calvin Lee! He just hit 100. Now he's at 101 points for his career as Calvin Lee delivers short and near side. The assist from Jack Dillon. It is 7-2 UMass Boston. So the Beacons up by 5, their largest lead of the day. 3:51 to go, first half of play. A lot of Southern Maine fans made their way down, and right now can't be too pleased with the performance of their club. Down by 5 goals, but plenty of lacrosse left to play as we are ticking down under 4 minutes in the first half. Here's Croy Arnold, who sends it back to Surratt. Alex near side for Tortora, and a high-rising pass bounces off Anthony's stick, but he regains it and moves forward. What a play. Tortora to Clay Arnold, one-on-one. Clay Comes back down towards the end of the pitch. Instead, he flicks it over towards Holmes, who now is D'd up by Hornblower. Conor Smith, one-on-one, goes behind the net for Holmes. What an offensive force Josh Holmes has been, as the freshman from Weymouth has been about as good as they get. Transfer from Roger Williams University. Nice move by Conor Smith, but so good he left the ball, and that is a turnover taken in by Zach Ham. Len Dube now with possession, as he thought about going to Smith. Smith shook a couple of defenders without possession of the ball, but Dube kept it and now finds Ernstom. Two and a half minutes to go. Beacons leading by 5. Del Judas, one-on-one with Ganem, taking a couple of whacks at him is Jim. Another one for posterity, and then there's a wraparound chance at the side of the net. Surratt tried to cover it up and does, despite Del Judas right in his face, as he will connect far side, and Murphy will lead the charge the other way. That goes back to Surratt, who finds Ranta, and the freshman defender moves forward before connecting with Pugsley. Beacons now on offense. 1:45 left, first half of play. Stay tuned at halftime. We'll have a look at the stats. We'll also take a look at highlights of the Beacons' victory against Plymouth State. That was their third win in a row at the time, looking for their fourth. And a good interception, as that one from Mulligan to Lee was picked off on a good play there by Marsh. There's a chance right in front, they score! Southern Maine coming all the way in, and it is Sam Fortin, I believe, number 16 for the Huskies. So the Huskies getting back on the board, cutting it back down to 4 with 1:16 to go in the second quarter. Sam Fortin with the goal for Sam on the season. That is his first goal for the senior. So how about that? He's played in 14 games, started just 1, and the senior from Brunswick, Maine gets his first goal of 2017 in the final game of 2017. So good for Sam. As an opportunity for the Beacons to try to stem some of that momentum. At least by winning that face-off, they get possession and do, with just 65 seconds left. Lee goes right through the defense. No-look backhanded feed for Holmes. Holmes takes the shot. Oh, great save made by Bassett. And the Beacons should keep possession. Here's Calvin Lee, one-on-one, goes right through the D, at least attempts to. He got hooked a little bit, and they're going to say that that is a foul on Lee and a turnover. With just 49 seconds left, so last chance for romance in the first half for the Huskies as they trail 7-3. Randall goes through one Beacon, that was Lee, as he gets harassed by Dillon. Just 30 seconds to go, trying to do it all himself, at least getting into the zone he does. He uses the strength there to get past Dillon. Ernstom, far side, comes back near side. Quick shot on a goal! What a howitzer cannon blast there from Paul Leonardo as the sophomore delivers his second of the day. Top shelf for Mama hides the cookies, and that's cut the deficit down to 3. It's 7-4. Oof. That's the type of save that Alex Surratt is going to want back, as he usually makes those ones. But not in this case. It's a blast top shelf from Paul Leonardo, and he has cut this deficit down to 3. Most likely that's where it'll be at the half with 15 and change left. The draw is taken in by Murphy. What another play by The long stick defender with 10 seconds left. Murphy's going to try to come all the way in, and he's lonesome. He takes the shot. A save made there by Bassett. And that will wrap things up for the first half of play as the long stretch feed is off the mark. So the Beacons got out to a 4-0 lead, but since then, the Huskies are battling back. We are through 30 minutes of play here from James Conner Field. It is 7-4. The Beacons still on top, but their lead shrinking here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. So 7-4 the score after one half of play. It is the halftime show, and let's start it off with a recap of the 11-7 win the Beacons enjoyed against Plymouth State in their last home game. These are highlights of that victory right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. You saw the Beacons' third consecutive victory in the highlights there over Plymouth State. Beacons now up 7-4 at halftime as they aim to get their fourth consecutive victory. As we take a look at the halftime stats, Beacons obviously dominating offensively, outshooting their opponents from Southern Maine 28-15. 9 saves for Zach Bissett. He has made a couple of good ones after giving up 4 unanswered to begin this affair. Meanwhile, Alex Surratt, he may have been a Defensive Player of the Week last week, but he's only had to make 2 saves on 15 shots attempted. Meanwhile, the Beacons have dominated face-offs thanks in large part to their star from the circle. That is Matt Murphy. And then, of course, you take a look at the turnovers, very even, and the referees have kept their whistles relatively silent. The Beacons did have one 30-second penalty, of which they killed off the advantage. Meanwhile, the Huskies have not been called yet for a penalty in this evening's affair. Let's take a look around Beaconville and see how the rest of the spring sports are doing this evening. Softball is playing a doubleheader at the Huskies of Southern Maine. The Southern Maine Huskies won game 1 7-2. Beacons bounced back for a tight-knit affair in game 2. They triumphed 8-7. They'll be back at it tomorrow. Meanwhile, baseball hosts Plymouth State tomorrow. Doubleheader starting at noon time, as that one will be right across the field at Monin Park here on the campus of UMass Boston. I'll have that broadcast for you. And, of course, men's tennis is at Bridgewater State tomorrow at 1 p.m., and the track and field team is taking on Westfield State on Saturday for the Little East Conference Championships. Best of luck to all involved in those matchups. We're going to get a look at the LEC scoreboard and look ahead as well, but before we do that, the men's baseball team's playing a big doubleheader tomorrow. We might as well take a look at one of their biggest wins of the season, a 9-1 triumph over number 21 Southern Maine from last night. That's up next on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Monin Park. It's Little East Baseball for you on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
Could be going back in with a fastball.
There's the pitch. It is a curveball. He struck him out. Looks back to second. Here's the 1-0. It's hit hard to third. Boudreaux's down on it. Going to go to second for one. On to first. In time, double play. 5-4-3. They go to get him. He has struck out 27 times. His batting average on balls in play is astronomical, as is this fly ball towards the wall. And gone.
He hit that one through the wind, too.
The 9th home run of the year for Dylan Appworth, to a similar spot there in his last at-bat. That one's hit right back up the middle for a base hit. They're going to send the man from second. Mantoni coming around. The throw will be cut off. It comes into third, and we have a tie ball game. RBI base hit for Luke Nagel. And for 14 on base pass this year. Started to go. They caught him leading. The throw down is in time. They got him. Anthony Searles with the pick to retire the side. And he takes this one, rips it down the left field line. Fair ball is going to roll all the way to the wall. Danielson around first, headed for second. He will get in there, standing a leadoff double for the pinch hitter.
Why?
Danielson, small lead at third. He's running, it's bunted down. There's no play at the plate, it's off the glove of 48. Everybody's going to be safe. Lefty on the mound, he was trying to steal home, but the suicide squeeze worked. That one's lined hard to first, and now on the flip side, a double play. Looks back to second. There's the shift. He is going to swing away. He hits it hard into left field, heading back towards the wall. This ball is up. This ball is gone. A 3-run home run for Nick Herzog breaks the game open. It's 5-1 Beacons.
Great call by Brennan Igerbro not to have Herzog bunt. Just a fastball down the middle, and Zog positive over the left field monster.
Here's the pitch. He struck him out right through it. Hit back up the middle, a base hit. They're going to send the man from third. There is no throw in it, 6-1 Beacons. Lopez scores an RBI single.
Well, the referee is trying to get this second half underway, so we can't finish that. But do stay tuned tomorrow for coverage beginning just before noon of the Beacons doubleheader against Plymouth State. Right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Beacons roaring through the regular season in both baseball and lacrosse, and now they're looking for an opportunity on the field in front of you to try to at least wrap up a 2 seed. Keene State was up by 9 over Eastern Connecticut State last time we checked. As the opening face-off He was won by Southern Maine. The Huskies won just 3 of 13 of those to begin this game. But here they are now with an opportunity offensively, and then they're giving a nice shove as Jack Dillon and dislodging possession, and that'll allow Murphy to connect with Tortora. And Anthony pierces through Del Judas, and now here comes the Beacon senior leading the rush the other way. Tortora back behind the net, connecting with Holmes. Holmes finds Lee. Calvin towards Arnold and Croy. Clay also out there, along with Tortora, Lee, Croy, Holmes, and now Matten. Sam, far side, behind the net. Calvin Lee, tightly defended. Croy Arnold for Anthony Tortora. And Sam Matten now on the far side. Holmes can't handle Sam's pass, and a turnover taken in by Hornblower as Sam faked the pass and was able to dislodge Holmes from his backside, and that'll allow Sam Hornblower to connect there. And now motoring through the defense is Sam Doolittle. He is an undeclared major. It's a shame he's not pre-med. Could become Dr. Doolittle. That was too easy. Huskies trying to get back on the board. They scored in the final minute of the first half with which to cut the deficit to 3. They haven't been any closer than 3 in this game. Great backhand, great save by Surratt. Second chances denied by Alex as well. And he's earning that award he got last week as the Defensive Player of the Week. And now a whistle, an advantage going to the Huskies. So even when Alex is on the top of his game, he can't get any breaks. Keegan Smith still has it behind the net for Del Judas. Randall hands things off to be taken in by Fortin, who scored that goal late in the first half. His first of the season, in fact, for the senior. Ernstom goes, trying to go towards Randall. It looked like it was deflected and trickled towards Surratt. Surratt hands things off to Murphy, who knows what to do with it, as Murphy is over midfield. Matt goes deep, and it's taken in by Holmes. Josh has it behind the net. Holmes one-on-one with Sam Hornblower. Holmes finds Tortora towards midfield, and the Beacons will try something else to the far side as Tortora goes right through not one but 2 defenders, takes the shot, and that one trickles wide near side as Tortora continue to play aggressively here in the final home game of his regular season career. As Hornblower connects with the netminder Bissett. And Zach moves things forward before chucking it deep for Max Hornblower. The freshman brother of Sam gets his pocket picked smartly by Ranta, who will try to corral it, but the ball shoots into the air like a mortar shot and eventually is taken in by Paul Leonardo. He's got a couple of goals today. Leonardo hands things off to Ernston. Keegan Smith behind the net, governed by Gannum. Keegan continues to try to use his body to get in front. He cannot do it, but there is a goal scored on the one-timer by Ernston. So Jeff Ernston delivers on the pass there from Smith. It is back-to-back unanswered. In fact, 3 unanswered for the Huskies. And what looked like a comfortable advantage for UMass Boston not long ago is now down to a 2-goal game with 11:11 to go in the third quarter. So the senior from Bellingham, Massachusetts, Jeff Ernston, a recreation and leisure studies major. Not sure what all that entails. As getting pummeled from behind by Ranta, and Robert's going to pay the price, not only from a slash, but then looks like the Huskies are going to get called as well. Ranta was going to go to the sin bin for an indiscriminate amount of time due to his check, but then he got slashed from behind, and I think they're going to even things up here. The guilty party for the Huskies is Drew Shane, and as a senior defenseman, you have to be smarter than that. At least I think that's what they're going to call somebody. We know Ranta's penalized. Cross-checking 1 minute. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Locked in 1 minute. Pepper, call Julia, please. Because these guys
So we're not really sure exactly what the calls are. It looked like, though, they threw 2 flags, so there should be at least 2 penalties. Now, I thought they were going to call one on Ranta, which they did. And I assume they were going to call one on the Huskies as well, but nobody right now is in the penalty box for the Huskies. I think the referees are saying somebody's got to. So it's just a loss of possession due to Zach Ham's frustration. So Ranta's the only one who's going to serve time for this due to unsportsmanlike conduct. So he's going to have to serve 2 minutes, so that's not the most auspicious thing for Tyler Lowe's club, only up by 2 goals. The good news is, due to the foolish penalty by Ham, the Beacons keep possession despite the fact they're down a man. So they can kill off some of that time here, and Tortora is just going to use his great wheels to do that. Came all the way around the horn behind the net and then stopped. Thought about handing it off to Holmes. He's going to have to get rid of it, and he goes to Holmes, who takes a hit from behind by Bassett, and I think Bassett's going to get served with some time for that, as he came out and just demolished Holmes from behind.
Southern Maine penalty on number 19, illegal body check, 1 minute.
So unlike in hockey where somebody else can serve it, Zach Bassett's got to come out of this game for a minute and be replaced out there by the backup freshman Alex LeBlanc, a 6'4", 195-pound criminology major from Westbrook, Maine. So we'll see how much that affects them. The Beacons technically are still down a man, but they'd be happy to take advantage of Bassett's absence here. LeBlanc has not played much this year. In fact, he's played in 6 games. So he's given up 8 goals, and he's made only 11 saves. So 11 of 19, not that good. 10:20 to go. Beacons up by 2. And trying to take advantage was Conor Smith as he took a high-rising shot as he was falling down towards the field. But Beacons keep possession as Holmes has it. Holmes. One-on-one with Hornblower. Nice move to get around Sam, at least for the moment. As Holmes tried to go for Calvin Lee in front, instead it makes its way all the way back towards midfield, and that is going to hurt. 9:50 to go, third quarter. The last couple of minutes of this quarter have crawled by since it became 7-5. Conor Smith takes a shot, and the netminder was not even looking, folks, and that's what happens when the freshman has to come in for the netminder. As Bassett got called for a penalty, and Alex LeBlanc was staring out at the daisies growing over in Monin Park. I'm not sure what happened there. But that, my friends, was ugly lacrosse. It reminds me of those old Southwest commercials, Want to Get Away. I think Alex LeBlanc's going to want to get away quickly. And now he is off the field as the freshman will try not to hang his head as he gets a pat on the back from his coach. But still, at the same time, that is just putrid. And he slams his fist into the aluminum seating there, and that's probably not going to be too good for him either. 9:38 to go. Beacons now up by 3 yet again. As a little bit of a brain cramp there from LeBlanc in due to the penalty. And you know what? You can blame LeBlanc, but at the same time, the netminder, the senior netminder, Bissett, or rather the junior netminder, Bissett, has to be smarter as the Beacons set up Lee for a one-timer from Holmes, and he could not corral the pass. And now Calvin's mad at himself. It's a whole lot of self-doubt here in the third quarter. This one from James Cotter Field is now moving the other way. With possession is Drew Shane. And now Shane just hands things off for Jake Schoenberg, and Schoenberg will slow things up as Randall joins him. A wild start to the third quarter. Beacons led 7-4. It was 7-5 when Robert Ranta got called for the 2-minute penalty. That was, at least on the surface, seemed to be an opportunity for the Huskies. But then Zach Bissett with a foolish check to the back of Holmes moments later, and that put the Beacons in business with a backup goalie coming in who was staring in the opposite direction of where the shot came and gave up a wide open net goal. That's where we stand now. It's 8-5, 8:30 to go. It's a chance right in front, and that one partially deflected wide, coming from the stick of Tristan Dundas. Possession maintained here by Del Judas and those Huskies. Here is Smith. Ermston back towards Keegan Smith. Keegan waiting, comes back near side with a pass. It was deflected by Murphy. And possession will stay with the Huskies. Eight minutes exactly remaining here in the third quarter. Beacons leading by 3, 8-5. Here's a chance for Ermston. Hesitation, takes a shot, and that came out of nowhere and almost ate up Surratt as the ball sailed all the way to the far side. Alex didn't know where it was. But luckily for him, it missed the net entirely. If the Beacons win this one, they will clinch number 2 seed, as getting the 6 swatted there was Keegan Smith. Randall keeping possession, finds Ermston, but he tried to pull that one back on the cradle too quickly. But Jeff is able to get there first. Behind the net he comes, hands it off to Del Judas. Hesitation move, getting around Jim Gannum. Del Judas looking for help, finds some, but unable to make the sound collection of the ball was Leonardo. Keegan Smith now, Gannum on him. Far side, Ermston back down low. Smith comes back behind the net after thinking about going far side, looking for a pass in front, connects, low shot, he scores! Bryce Randall, the freshman from Portland. And it is back down to 2, it's 8-6.
Southern Maine goal scored by number 4, Bryce Randall, assisted by number 2, Keegan Smith.
So this topsy-turvy roller coaster ride of an affair continues. It's now 8-6. It's the closest that the Huskies have gotten 2 goals. It's the second time they've gotten that close since it was 2-0. And, of course, the Beacons have bounced back every time they've been threatened here. We'll see if that continues. Murphy up against Drew Shane. Face-off taken in by Murphy, but he got his stick swatted at, and that allows Shane to pick it up and move forward. Drew Shane comes away from the fracas with possession, and eventually the Beacons see Murphy get his stick swatted by Del Judas. It does come towards the sideline, kept out of, rather inbounds there, and now Surratt is able to connect with Tortora. Spin move around the midfield and over midfield and into attacking territory. Tortora, he's got Arnold, finds him, Clay shot. What a save made by Bissett. And now a chance coming the other way as Keegan Smith gets the long stretch feed from Zach Bissett. Bissett coming in one-on-one against Smith. He's double-teamed, gets his stick swatted, and the ball trickles over towards Len Dube. Randall's the man who scored moments ago. He's got possession on the end of his stick. Smith faked that he had it, but it was in Randall's stick the whole time. Jeff Urmston, right back to Bryce Randall. Give and go for Urmston. There's a shot and a goal scored! Just like that, it's down to 1. A shot out of nowhere taken and a goal scored. An unassisted goal, and just like that, this thing is gotten tight, and we will get a timeout for UMass Boston. From 8-3 to 8-7, things are tightening up with just 5:36 to go in the third quarter. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. 5:36 to go in the third quarter. The Beacons, once a shorthanded lead, has really shrunk down to a string. The Beacons leading 8-7 and not looking great defensively in the last few minutes. They gave up back-to-back goals on back-to-back possessions. UMass Boston's lead down to 1. It's become tumultuous here as getting his stick swatted and stolen, and then a slash there. It was Drew Shane. And Dylan and Shane getting in each other's face, and somebody is going to pay the price for that, and I tend to think it's probably Dylan. A lot of mouthing back and forth. The ref heard it and immediately threw a flag. They might just call them both and say, figure it out from the sin bin. I think that's the case. The Beacons will get 1 minute, as will the Huskies, so things even up. So both teams facing penalties here as tempers continue to flare over in the heat. This game is moving very slowly here in the second half. Referees a large reason for that. But here we go as the Huskies are ready to go. Smith behind the net trying to tie things up. Smith teed up by Ganem. He'll go, well, he thought about going back to the midi. Instead, he'll come back behind the net, hand things off towards Paul Leonardo. Both players got unnecessary roughness calls. No surprise there. Things were pretty dicey there towards the sideline where the benches for Southern Maine are. Meanwhile, Del Judas trying to make it dicey for the Beacons, and that somehow was a save by Surratt. Robert Ranta is going to get called for his second penalty of the day, I believe, and he is the guilty party, which is not good. But what a save by Alex Surratt from point-blank range. So Robert Ranta is going to join Jack Dillon in the penalty box. The two defenders can rest on one knee together. Beacons now down a man. And that is exacerbated by the fact that they're two of their best defenders. As now you're going to see Aiden Pugsley who, for a defender, is very undersized at 5'8", 170, and he allows Steljudas to go right by him, but somehow Nate missed as that one sailed wide. Smith off the reset, a great save there by Surratt as he got the stick lifted in time. 4:12 remaining, 8-7 UMass Boston. Smith comes near side, opportunity taken in by Randall. Randall far side, Ermstrom takes a hard shot and that one sails as he tried to go short side but it missed. As we are back to even strength, UMass Boston trying to hold on to what is a one-goal lead, 8-7, as that one sails wide. 3:47 to go, third quarter of play. Del Judas connects with Keegan Smith. Smith fakes the pass, comes back behind the net. And that one overshot by the forward Leonardo. Penalties have expired, so all things evened up. And an offsides on UMass Boston, so possession keeping in the position of the Huskies. Ermstrom with possession. Goes right in front, a bouncing shot, and they have tied it up on a goal scored by Tristan Dundas, and somehow, some way, the Huskies in one quarter have come all the way back. It's 8-8.
Assisted by number 12, Jeff Ernsten.
It was 7-3 at one point with just about 30 seconds left in the first half of play. A late goal scored in that first half made it 7-4. The Beacons at one point led 8-4. But since then, it has been all Huskies all the time. Murphy trying to win the face-off. He pokes it towards Dillon. Dillon will at least be the first one to get his stick on it. Then he goes down, and they're going to call a push. So here's Matten off of the call. Actually, it was Conor Smith who went back towards Holmes, and he is the man with possession behind the net. Less than 3 minutes to go as Holmes was trying to connect with Carbo. Instead, it comes out of bounds, and Beacons offensively getting a little sloppy here, but Holmes will keep possession for UMass Boston. 2:40 to go, third quarter of play. Conor Smith with possession, goes right around the defense using his speed, takes a shot, and a nice stick save made by Bissett. As possession stays with Clay Arnold and the Beacons. Clay finds Conor Smith, 2:15 to go, 8-8 the score. Beacons with a win would get the 2 seed. And a bye in the first round of the LEC, so a big matchup here and a big game for the Beacons to win. Smith down low for Holmes. Now Conor Smith. Smith takes the shot, and a nice save made there by Bissett as he got down to one knee with less than 2 minutes to go. So now, trying to take their first lead of the game will be the Huskies of Southern Maine, but thinking otherwise is Carvo, who uses his body to dislodge the ball, finds Calvin Lee on the turnover. Holmes with a shot, he scores! Josh Holmes with his third of the day, and UMass Boston has gotten back on top. It's 9-8 with 94 seconds left in the third quarter. So with the score now 9-8 Beacons, ensuing face-off taken by the Huskies, and here they come the other way. Opportunity here for Shane, and he gets his stick checked from behind, and Drew sees it sail out of bounds. So the Beacons do a good job coming back at least defensively. UMass Boston once had a 5-goal advantage in this one. It's down to 1 now, as Smith connects there with Del Judas. Del Judas somehow maintains possession with Corey Arnold all over him. That one deflected, intended for a man who scored a couple of goals today, Dundas, and it comes out of bounds. And I think Southern Maine keeps possession, although Tortora doesn't agree.
Julia, have Ari at the end of this quarter do the balls at both baselines as fast as possible, please. Thank you.
UMass Boston up 9-8, less than 60 seconds to go, third quarter of play. Keegan Smith reverses course, goes behind the net for Del Judas. Looking for a cutter. Instead, he goes right up top for Randall, who tried to go through a screen and missed high and wide. 29.6 seconds left. It's 9-8 UMass Boston. Del Judas one-on-one with Ganem. Nate back behind now towards Leonard. Leonardo, rather, connects there with the aforementioned Dundas, who has a couple of goals today. Instead, with just 8 seconds left, Smith might go ISO. Oh, nice move to get around. Tried to dump it down for Del Judas. Not a good play for Keegan Smith. 1.1 second left, so folks, that'll do it for all intents and purposes here in the third quarter. And as the whistle sounds, the third quarter comes to an end. It was a quarter the Beacons led going into it by 3. It got dicey as it was evened up at 8 for a few moments, but the Beacons now leading at 9-8 after 3 quarters of play. We'll be back for the final quarter of this one right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Final 15 minutes of action here in the 2017 regular season for UMass Boston as they lead it 9-8, trying to wrap up the second seed in the Little East Conference tournament. Last I heard, I believe it was 16-7 Keene State leading over East Con, which means if that score holds and this one holds, the Beacons would get that bye in the second seed. But this 9-8 lead is certainly in doubt. Beacons had a 4-goal lead really for most of this game, especially the first half. In the second half, perhaps the heat has started to wear them down. But the Beacons do start out at least with possession after a face-off win by Murphy to begin the fourth quarter. Corey Arnold, the man with possession, hands off to Connor Smith. Smith goes right around the defender. That was Len Dube, but Dube does get a slash in on him. Dislodge the shot, and then there's a goal there by Connor Smith. some insurance for UMass Boston as they lead it 10-8 on a blast from number 11 in white. For Conor Smith, that is goal number 9 on the campaign, his 17th point, and the Beacons are back on top by 2. It's 10-8. 14:11 to go, fourth quarter. The Beacons have extended their lead now to 2, and they'll try to hang on to that one. Best defense is a good offense, so we'll see if the Beacons can get right back at it. Face-off instead is taken in by the Huskies. It's meandering away is Joe Penna. Penna then gets it slashed away. And the Beacons do get possession as Lee goes down low. Holmes going back towards Dillon. And Jack came up with it, but we do have a whistle, I believe. Oh, they're just slowing things down for a few substitutions. Excuse me. Tortora has it. One of 2 seniors playing their final regular season game along with Calvin Lee. Here's Connor Smith, who scored moments ago. Smith hesitates, pump fake, takes a shot, high riser out of bounds. Clay Arnold finds his brother Croy. As Tortora is the man with possession now, 1-on-1. Good screen from Smith allows Tortora to come right on in and score! Anthony Tortora's second goal of the day, his 3rd point, and UMass Boston is back up 3. It's 11-8.
Anthony Tortora, unassisted.
So the senior having one of the best days of his career. Not really a point producer all season long, and here he comes today with an outstanding offensive performance. Beacons up 11-8, 13:09 to go, fourth quarter of play. Face-off won by the Huskies as they'll try to chase it down as Shane got it swatted away by Dillon. Then Shane goes after Dillon. Little cross-check there, but Jack emerges, gets a slash, keeps possession, no-look feed. And still a loose ball, eventually taken in by the Huskies. Then they lose it. And it is a ground ball eventually taken in by number 22, Ryan Saul. Beacons with possession. Croy Arnold on the far side of the field. 1-on-1 with Caleb Dolph. Arnold just taking his dear sweet time with 12 and change to go. Looking to go 1-on-1 with Dolph, goes around him, and then defers to Holmes on the far side. Sam Matten has it 1-on-1 there as he goes right around Dube, takes the shot, and that one misses near side on a bounce. Tortora now is the man with possession. He's already got 3 points. Behind the net for Holmes. Beacons have Croy Arnold, Clay Arnold, Holmes, Tortora, Lee, and Matten out there offensively. Now Calvin Lee trying to come around the net far side. Defender trips and falls. Calvin tries to take advantage right out in front for Holmes, who missed high and wide as his stick was checked. It looked like he might have gotten slashed in the back if his agony is any indication. Though he's not the only one, as one of the Huskies is now down to one knee, removing some padding. looks okay, is coming on off his max hornblower. As the freshman defender meanders his way off the field with 11 and 12 to go. Beacons leading 11-8. Tortora now with possession, finds Matten as we are back into action here in the fourth quarter. Conor Smith hesitates, far side taken in as Lee tried to go back towards Holmes, right back to Lee. You always tell Calvin out there with those green spikes as that shot sails high and wide from Conor Smith with 10:45 to go. Through a screen, Clay Arnold thought about it, took it, and it was deflected wide by the netminder, Bissett. And with 10:38 to go, it's now Husky possession. Moving forward with it is Zach Ham. Ham, the long stick defender, goes all the way down, connects there with Keegan Smith. Smith one-on-one with Ganem, as has been the case all evening. And then a bad pass deflected, and UMass Boston gets possession. Substitutions, and then that pass from Clay Arnold was off the mark. Calvin Lee chases it down, keeps it inbounds. Good play by Calvin, playing his final regular season game. We are in the final 10 minutes of regulation time with the Beacons winning 11-8. Still 16-7 Owls as they lead Eastern Connecticut State. The Beacons win, and that score staying the way it is. Beacons get the 2 seed. Certainly wouldn't have thought that earlier on this year. Beacons were really struggling as Holmes loses possession, though we do get a whistle, and the Beacons will keep possession. Calvin Lee, tightly defended by Ham. Conor Smith, around the horn they come to Clay Arnold, all the way back behind the net for Holmes. Holmes D'd up one-on-one by Ryan Marsh. And now Conor Smith had an open shooting lane, but then Sam Hornblower came out. And that's a bad pass there from Clay Arnold, as unable to connect there with Holmes. A turnover and 8:49 left. The tide turns the other way with the Huskies gaining possession. With it here is Urmston. Jeff Urmston over midfield. Getting whacked out there by Arnold. Hands things off to Sam Hornblower. Hornblower right out in front. A chance and a great save made by Surratt, as Leonardo was right out in front. He is looking for his third of the day. Hornblower tried to use that long stick to go over Surratt and just was unable to find the back of the net. As with 8:13 to go, it remains 11-8. Bryce Randall, the man with possession, number 4 in blue. Randall handing things off now to Tristan Dundas, who gives it right back to Randall, down to Del Judas, and now Keegan Smith. Smith behind the net, taken in by Leonardo, right out in front, looking for Dundas, but it's intercepted. And then going down is Jim Ganem. And that'll allow Del Judas and the Huskies to regain possession. Chance right out in front for number 4, Bryce Randall, but he sails this one high and wide. 7:28 to go. Beacons up by 3. A chance in front and a great save by Surratt on a opportunity from right out in front by Leonardo. And now a whistle. And with no possession, the referees stop it. As it looked like a possession is going to stay with the Huskies. Beacons don't like it. But nonetheless, the referees get the final say. So here's Keegan Smith, 7:15 to go. 11-8. Opportunity for Randall, and he just whiffed on that one. His pocket's picked by Murphy, coming the other way, 4-on-3. Murphy has to hesitate as Randall had better wheels. Now Murphy with a nice pass to Dillon. Dillon thinking of taking a shot. He does it. A great save by Bassett with the stick, with Arnold on the doorstep. So Jack Dillon wanted to score that goal, took the shot, and a good save there by Bassett. Now there's a bad turnover to Arnold. Arnold to Lee. Lee, tricky play, tried to just fist it backhanded towards Holmes, and then there's a check, no call. Holmes made a check where the player didn't have possession. And there's a shot from Dillon. He scores! Better to be late than never as Dillon delivers on an assist there from Arnold. And it is 12-8 with 6:39 to go in the fourth quarter. The Beacons back up by 4. And things are looking good with less than 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Taken in here off the face-off win by the Huskies as they brought it back into their own territory. Hornblower with possession. Hornblower sometimes has trouble getting it out of his stick on first effort. Got it over on that one to Ham, and then Hornblower tried to go far side, missed everybody, and Beacons got possession. .6:14 left. Beacons up 12-8 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Tortora trying to go through the D at midfield. Got it slashed away. Regained possession, not once, and then lost it, and trying to get it twice. And he gets demolished right in front of the referee, and he's going to keep possession thanks to that. So here he comes, Tortora. Already with 3 points. Opportunity to make it a 4-point day. We trickle down to the final 5:50 of regulation time. Tortora near side, gobbled up here by Josh Holmes. Holmes one-on-one with Ham. And now Croy Arnold gets it at the top of the offensive formation. Arnold hands it off. Nice movement by Smith, and he scores. Conor Smith's second of the day. Great movement by the Beacons as he pinched towards the slot as Arnold came near side. And that allowed UMass Boston to extend this one to their largest lead yet again. It's 5, as this game that was once 8-8 is now 13-8 UMass Boston.
Timeout Southern Maine.
And a timeout here called by the Huskies of Southern Maine as they're down 5 with 5:16 to go. We'll be back right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. 5:16 to go, 13-8, UMass Boston on top. And, oh, what a surprise, another whistle as UMass Boston off the faceoff does gain possession. Murphy gets it, cutting here, finds Lee. Calvin takes a shot, great save by Brissett as he was able to get down to his knees to make the denial. Under 5 minutes to go, fourth quarter of play. Beacons up 13-8, most likely on their way to a bye in the first round and a second seed in the LEC tournament. Early on, the Beacons dominated in the first quarter. They took a 4-0 lead before the Huskies even woke up and realized they were playing. Huskies then got on the board, but the Beacons had, for majority of that first half, a multiple-goal lead. It got dicey in the third quarter when the Beacons saw their once 8-4 lead trickle down to a tie at 8-8, but the Beacons have scored 5 unanswered here in the fourth quarter and have really pulled away, which is 4 minutes to go as Tortora takes a body check there from Del Judas, and then a big slash there is going to draw a couple of penalties. Beacons trying to just stretch this possession and kill some clock with less than 4 minutes left. Conor Smith one-on-one here. Number 28, Len Dube. Conor takes the shot and he scores! Conor Smith, his third goal of the half. A hat trick for Conor Smith. And the Beacons have their largest lead of the day officially now, as after they blew a 5-goal lead, they now lead by 6. It's 14-8.
Southern Maine penalty on number 10, Nate Deljudice. What is it?
1 minute for a slash.
1 minute for a slash.
Oh, you're fine. It's fine.
Says Ham chases after this one. 3:33 to go. Another stoppage. What? 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Beacons up by 6, 14-8. Ryan Saul with possession for the Huskies. Hands things off to Ermston. Dillon slashes it away from him, and now it's Murphy who's going to get called. And the advantage coming here, an opportunity for a play here for the Huskies. That's Sam Fortin. Fortin has a goal today, his first of the year. Drops it down low for Keegan Smith. 2:52 left and another penalty. Beacons up by 6, so they're pretty secure in their lead right now as this one comes out of bounds, and we'll get those penalties coming up here. Be at least one penalty, looked like 2, one for a slash. Boy, oh boy, so the Beacons getting a little feisty with their sticks late in this one as Jim Gannum and Matt Murphy go for slashing. Both 1 minute penalties, 2:30 to go as the Beacons lead it by 6, 14-8. Keegan Smith being harassed by Dillon. Connecting and a shot there by Bryce Randall's off the mark. Taken now behind the net by Smith. Finds Randall. Another shot and he scores. Bryce Randall connects. And it's 14-9 with 2:13 to go as the two players come out of the penalty box after that goal.
Assisted by number 2, Keegan Smith.
So the Beacons, their lead now still down to just 5, but still with 2:13 to go, pretty secure. Stay tuned after the game. We'll get a recap of the Little East Conference scoreboard and look ahead to the postseason as face-off taken in by the Huskies at first, and then just a bunch of players colliding into each other with the possession unheld by anybody, but eventually it is taken in here by Drew Shane. Shane hands things off to Leonardo with less than 2 minutes to go. Leonardo gets it to Randall, and now Bryce hands things off to Urmston. Far side for Del Judice. Keegan Smith for Randall. Thought about it. Instead, he'll go right back behind the net for Leonardo. Leonardo. Connecting behind the net for Del Judice. Spin move on Ganem. Del Judice thought about going to Randall. Did not. Comes back far side for Urmston. Shot blocked down in front. This one trickling out of bounds. Possession staying with Randall and the Huskies. .70 seconds left, regulation time. Beacons up by 5, well on their way to victory. As there's a shot sailing wide, and they're going to say Beacons ball. Good job by Tortora. Been a game full of good effort from him, as he's able to beat out the defense, get possession, and now an opportunity for the Beacons to try to kill this clock. 60 seconds left. The Beacons on their way to victory this evening in their final game on Senior Day of 2017. They will bring a 4-game winning streak into the LEC tournament with them. As there's another turnover by the Beacons. And judging from the last score update we got from Keene State, they'll be on their way to a second seed. A timeout was called by Southern Maine, down by 5 with 38 seconds left. It's unconventional to say the least, but we'll be right back here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. So out of the timeout, 38 seconds left in a 5-goal game. Beacons seeing this victory, their 8th of the season, and a great save by Surrett, who's going to wrap things up with a dandy of a save in his own net. 25 seconds left, Beacons up 14-9, as Dylan already has a goal today, moseys his way over midfield. Connecting with Clay Arnold, he had the goal that started it all. Just a few seconds into this game. And the Beacons are going to win on Senior Day. 4 consecutive wins to end the 2017 regular season. And they will head on towards the LEC tournament with a bye and an opportunity as the 2 seed to take on Keene State and the rest of the Little East Conference. The final score, the Beacons of UMass Boston 14, the Huskies of Southern Maine 9, right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. So the final score 14-9, the Beacons winning this one, and barring the unforeseen from Keene, they will be the second seed in the Little East Conference. So UMass Boston winning this one by a score of 14-9. I want to thank the crew here, as always, for contributing. Seth Orensky, our producer, Rachel Maslak and Alyssa Fugel, our directors. Our camera operator, Sarah Alenardo, and, of course, I am John Scudras. For everyone else involved in the broadcast, and, of course, all season long, I thank you for tuning in to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Until next time, the Beacons win at 14-9. Good night, good luck, and good lacrosse. We'll see you right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.